Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good Tuesday. Today is another episode of No More Kids in Scientology, you guys. And this is a very special episode because this is an episode where we're actually venturing out into discussing Grant Cardone, who does find himself ensnared in a lawsuit that he filed. So we're going to get into all of those details, and we're going to get into corroborating and starting to see the patterns that are showing up in the courtroom and contextualizing how a lot of this is giving same shit, different air freshener. So to get things started, you guys, I thought let's go over a definition, just to keep this very L. Ron Hubbard style. Let's go over a definition. The definition we want to go over, that pretty much in a nutshell, if you don't want to go through this whole thing, because this might be a little long. So if you don't want to go through the whole thing, here is what you need to know. The definition of lawfare is the strategic use of legal systems and institutions to achieve a political objective. It typically involves using legal actions or lawsuits to weaken or undermine an opponent. Instead of focusing on justice or legal outcomes in the conventional sense, the goal of lawfare is to exploit legal mechanisms to inflict damage, silence critics, drain resources, or gain strategic advantage. Example of lawfare include, but is not limited to, filing frivolous lawsuits to intimidate or financially burden an opponent, using legal processes to discredit or silence, wait for it, activists and journalists, or leveraging international laws and courts to gain an upper hand in conflicts. The term is often used to describe situations where legal tactics are weaponized, turning courts into battlegrounds for broader conflicts. So definitely, everyone out there, grab your little clay demo and clay demo this definition, sentence by sentence. Make sure that you understand it conceptually, because it would be a very good thing that people start understanding definitions conceptually. It would be a very, very good idea for that to happen. Maybe if people start understanding this definition conceptually, there's less of playing dumb and dumber. So let's get straight into it, you guys. If you don't know this channel, this is a pretty big YouTuber. His name is Scott Schaefer. Where's his YouTube name? We'll definitely make sure I put it on the description, but for anyone that is not familiar with this YouTuber, Scott Schaefer, he's been doing a lot of coverage over, different various scams that go on, calling out scams. Like he's like, one of these, like, oh, here it is from Scott Schaefer. He's one of these like CoffeeZilla big YouTubers that cover a lot of these frauds and a lot of these scams. So I just about fell over out of my chair when I heard what he was breaking news on in his channel. And I thought, hell, let's contextualize all the facts that are being exposed and all the things that are being alleged here. And let's give our 2 cents from a Scientology kid that grew up in that shit perspective. So here you go, you guys.
So guys, we've been taking a little trip down memory lane recently. If you don't know my last episode, I talked about Ty here in my garage, Lopez, the knowledge guy.
Knowledge.
And this episode, now we're going to be talking about Grant here in my jet, Cardone, the 10X guy, 10X. So yeah, we're talking about Grant Cardone. Now, I've talked about him in the past. Many people have talked about Grant Cardone in the past. He is one of YouTube's original fake gurus. He's been on the platform since 2007. So he's on.
So on the YouTube platform, Grant Cardone, another one of these YouTube darlings, Mr. Beast, Grant Cardone, Paul Logan, all manner of YouTube darlings that have amassed an enormous following. You guys, look at this, 2.6 million subscribers. And he's been on the platform for a long time, putting all manner of videos out there for himself to pitch. So
he's almost pushing 2 decades on the platform at this point. He has 2.65 million subscribers.
shout out to Google and YouTube with a 20-year relationship with Grant Cardone. What's up, YouTube? What's up, Google? Y'all are partners with Grant Cardone? Interesting.
Been on the platform for a long time. Very successful. Now, that's not all organic. He's actually run a bunch of ads to his channel over the years. But still, a lot of people have heard of Grant Cardone. And initially,
that's right, you guys. Because, again, these are all propped up optics. And give it up to Scientology, who does know how to pitch a celebrity. If there's something you can give the credit, what credit is due to Scientology, they definitely know how to wrap someone up and spin it so that they get perceived as a celebrity. L1 Hubbard was very early on in the whole influencer vibe. I mean, think about it. Before anybody really was hiring influencers, L1 Hubbard was already on it, recruiting celebrities to influence and bring and attract and sanitize an image and purport that they're very, very legit. So that's exactly what this is giving. The same type of obfuscation and the same type of
And initially, a lot of people really respected Grant Cardone when he first started on the platform. But over the years, a lot of information has come out about him, and a lot of people have been making negative videos about him. And now,
and see, you guys, I mean, a lot of the narrative, including from Grant Cardone, right? Because again, the L. Ron Hubbard surrogates are told that anyone who gives them any feedback that is not, you're amazing, you're awesome, you are incredible, they're 100% their enemy. That's the rhetoric of L1 Hubbard. That's what Grant Cardone is going with. Here, L1 Hubbard said, if someone gives me negative feedback, they are suppressing me. So already, this whole idea that facts being exposed on their face is negative, is laughable. It's truly laughable at best. This late in the game, damn. It is the year 2024 and people are still playing dumb. They can't connect a shred of dot. Because that is what we're talking about here. This is not Earth rocket science. Believe you me, this is not Earth rocket science. This is very straightforward. The rabbit hole is all mapped out on how this exactly was getting literally ordered.
Grant Cardone, he doesn't really have a lot of respect on YouTube. If you actually watch his newer videos, most of his videos don't even break 10, 15,000 views. For a channel that has 2.6 million subscribers.
And again, you guys, YouTube is based on building of communities. So everyone here is building a community. But you know what is actually good about YouTube communities? That there is so many receipts. Everything you've said is literally here. So all of these personalities that take it upon themselves to get themselves all ensnared in these communities, you can trace the scam. going backwards. And they've done, like, one of my favorite YouTubers, BJ Investigates, that has already uncovered all of the legal disasters that had been done to have Britney on a conservatorship, starting from there. Then she went down to cover Mr. Beast. She's covered Scientology. Again, all of this has been done through YouTube communities. The pressure's been coming from the communities built on YouTube. And they could build big communities, Grant Cardone, purporting and posturing that he really wanted to help them and he really wanted to financially give them what he has. But what did you really have, Grant Cardone? That's really the question to really ask you right about now. What did you actually literally have?
And your videos are only getting 10,000 views. That's a little embarrassing, I gotta say. It's not.
Yeah, because all of the comments, you guys, in his videos are the community has literally woken up. Some of them have smelled the coffee. Some of them have put things together. Some of them have come forward with things that, yes, don't make a shred of sense after you exit the cult. At the time when you were under the spell of like, oh, everything's going to be amazing and great, people do all the stupidity that you can already see fully mapped out about what all the Scientology parents did. People, just to be accepted into that bubble of a group that they're co-signing in, they will do whatever it takes to identify themselves inside of that bubble. So I just hope that that part of it is actually understood about these people.
It's not been doing too well for Grant Cardone. Now, what this video is actually about, if you don't know, earlier this year, Grant Cardone sued someone, and that case has been in trial for a while now. And a lot of the documents that have been coming out, I'm going to show you the documents in this video. They don't paint Cardone in a very good light. It's actually paints him in a very bad light, and potentially, if some of these documents are true, it allegedly paints him as a criminal. Again, allegedly. Nothing has been proven yet. I want to point that out.
Documents that paint them as a criminal, as an alleged criminal. So why does this matter, you guys? Because there's a larger pattern here. What happened in Danny's case? What happened in DOA's case? What happened on this now Grant Cardone case? What happened on all of these cases that are brought up? Going back to our definition of lawfare, where it's being now proven in court just how frivolous everything really actually is. But you know what? It's taken till the year 2024 to be having wins with these people. Because prior to us, everything was loss. So this is a long-standing pattern that you're seeing being used everywhere. Again, Grant Cardone is under orders of people inside of his hotel. He has to tell them his ethics. He has to tell them his out ethics. He has to tell them his legal problems. He has to tell them everything. There cannot be any withholds. OSA needs to know everything going on with him. He's got handlers that need to know. This is how they do the crisis management inside of the hotel. Remember, Grant Cardone has been lauded as a great success of Scientology. Look at him. Wouldn't you want to be a millionaire like him? Don't you want to own a plane like him? But honestly, take a look at what the facts show and what's actually being alleged and what's coming forward as a result of, like it says on this video, you guys. I mean, just take a look at it for yourselves. The title of this video, and I know you're not going to be able to see it there because I'm at the bottom of this, but the title of the video is Grant Cardone Made a Massive Mistake. So I'm sorry, Grant Cardone, you made a massive mistake. And if you really start to see what in the hell these documents are saying, that's going to become very clear.
Because Grant Cardone wants to sue some people, so point that out. But I'm going to show you these documents in a minute. And Grant has no one to blame for these documents coming out other than himself, because he sued someone, and now all of this evidence is out there. Now, before I show you the documents,
see, you guys, how for all of these years that the corporate media goes, oh, but you know what? We really just can't talk about this because God forbid we get sued. You know what's so bullshit about that excuse that we've heard ad nauseum? That Just as you can see here, if you write a frivolous bullshit lawsuit, there's discovery on both ends. So in what world is that an excuse that the corporate media can really go, oh, we haven't investigated anything because we're going to get sued. And, you know, our little lawyers keep us like little, you know, little Muppets, very well taken care of. Oh no, don't go near them. We really need to protect you, New York Times. God forbid you get sued. I mean, what could happen if you are up against a frivolous lawsuit that literal DOA can go and represent himself and win? Imagine the attorneys of these corporate media outlets that go, oh no, the reason we've not been able to rein anything back in there because we're very, very troubled that we will get sued. That's been the 100% sanitized way of explaining everything that's going on with Scientology and why the hell in the year 2024, there's still children being told that they can be slaves and consent to that, which is what's pitched as a religious experience inside of the hotels. Well, Grant Cardone, billionaire Grant Cardone, is a paid member of. Right or wrong? Right or wrong, Grant Cardone? Literally.
Let's go into a little bit of the history, excuse me, of how we actually got to this point. Now, like I said, Grant Cardone, he started out on YouTube back in 2007, and over the past 5-6 years, a lot of people have been calling him out as a scammer, as a fake guru, as a con man. And one of these individuals was a guy named John Legere. He's not actually a YouTuber. He's actually the former CEO of T-Mobile. And John Legere and Grant Cardone got in a beef in a Twitter hangout where you talk over Twitter. And basically, John accused Grant Cardone of being a con man. He accused him of not being a billionaire because Grant Cardone likes to tell everyone that he's a billionaire. And he is definitely a billionaire. And he accused him of being a con man, not a billionaire. And that potentially what he's actually done in the past couple of years, he claimed that Grant Cardone will probably go to prison in the next year or so.
John,
hey, Grant, you are the biggest bullshit artist on the planet.
Why are you trying to diminish everybody in the room?
No, just you, Grant, because you're a fucking con man. I'll say this on this room right now. I believe that in the next year, Grant Cardone will be found guilty of fraud. I believe that Grant Cardone will be found guilty of fraud, and I want nothing to do with it.
John, do you know of anybody that I have been fraudulent to?
I think you're a fake, somebody that says I used to be an addict, and I think you're fake. That's my opinion. By the way, he's not a billionaire. Yep. He doesn't have close to $1 billion, and he is somebody.
How do you know?
Somebody here. He's somebody who is self-promoting. And if you go to the world, go to the world of CNBC, go to CNN, go to the world, ask about Grant Cardone. He doesn't exist.
How do you know what I'm worth, John?
How do I know what you're spending under the radar to live your lifestyle?
How do you know where my money comes from? How do you don't know anything about me financially? Just admit that, John.
So how much you paying to the church, Grant?
John, what, John, what does that matter?
How much you paying to the church?
John, what?
Why does that matter? Imagine, Grant, that John is under limited info. And it matters because you would know why it matters, Grant. You would know why it matters. You would know why it matters how much you paid to the hotel that you call a church. You would have it in your tax deductions that you turn to the IRS. That's how much it matters. That's how much it matters. The so-called donations. What have they garnished you, Grant Cardone? Because that would be really interesting to start understanding. How many times have you answered the question, have you committed a felony for which you have not been arrested and had it laundered inside the hotel or commercial building that you frequent, that you claim You can float it away as you self-admit, because maybe CC your lawyer on this little practice and ask him if self-admitting to felonies that were done under, I'm not auditing you, so before you go, oh, but it was a very religious practice, bullshit. Just to get inside the hotel, anytime you enter it, you have to go through that form. A to J form. Right, Debbie Cook? Remember? The one that you really said, oh, you guys, our statistics are crashing because a lot of people that are coming to the hotel, we're finding out are A to J. You really need to interrogate anybody that comes through here. You really need to send it to OSA. You really need to make sure they qualify to enter the hotel. So what part of that is a religious experience? And why are you paying for that? And why are you writing it off of your taxes? And why is the IRS all about this? Because, you know, if you want to ask questions, you know what? Ask questions, but ask good questions, not dumb ones.
John, what do you
The
know about me
church now?
financially? You just said you just made a bunch of claims
I
about
don't
what
know.
I am.
Hey, you know, what I know, Grant, is that you say all the time you're a billionaire, that you have 4 billion. So, you know, in real estate, do you? Are you a billionaire?
John, what do you know about my
Here's
finance?
your chance. Here's your chance, Grant. Are you a
I don't
billionaire?
need a
Yes
chance
or no?
with you. You're the
Are
one
you
who's
a
coming in
billionaire?
here.
Tell the group. Hey, Grant, your profile says you're a billionaire. Are you a
John,
billionaire?
John, I'm not going to even answer your questions right now.
Are you?
Now, that clip I showed you was actually posted by another.
I'm not even going to answer your questions right now, says Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone, can kids inside the Scientology hotels or commercial buildings say that to an auditor? Can they go to their auditor and say, you know what? That question you just asked me about if I've committed a felony for which I've been arrested, don't want to answer that. I'm not even going to answer that. What happens to a child that gets that question that doesn't have that luxury, Grant? Because apparently you were afforded that luxury on a Twitter space by another CEO. But where is you affording that luxury to kids inside of the hotel that get asked those questions, including but not limited to? They take it very far. Goes woof. So many places. So here you are seeing the complete hypocrisy of this man, where he then gets to hand select what type of questions he's asked in public, because how dare anybody question what? You're one of the Scientology parents who what? Who thought a convicted felon could be repackaged as an American bred god. This is called American bred fraud. Write that down on your notebook and then underline it and circle it in red 3 times. American bred God equals American bred fraud. It's giving fraud. In our own personal opinion, is literally giving fraud AF.
By another channel called Growing Up in Scientology. Aaron Smith-Levin, if you don't know, he is a former member of Scientology. He left, now he calls them out. Grant Cardone is still a Scientologist, so he likes to call him out a lot. He posted that full interview, and that was actually one of the main catalysts of why Grant Cardone decided to sue John Legere for all of this coming out. Aaron Smith-Levin has actually been called as a witness in this case as well, since he was the one who initially posted that to YouTube, and it got like, I think, 160,000 views at this.
Yeah. Aaron was called to this, and he's actually participating in this one, you guys. So don't forget, Aaron is actually participating in this as he was called a witness. As apparently this is an alleged catalyst that led Grant Cardone to really want to go and claim that he was being defamed by people that don't even know the half of it.
At this point, If you don't know, I actually interviewed Aaron Smith-Levin a couple years ago. I think that video is just shy of 100,000 views. So if you want to go back and watch that, it always brings me great joy when one of my videos reaches that big milestone of 100,000 views. So definitely check that out. But he posted that interview. Grant Cardone was not happy about what the guy said about him in this interview. Grant Cardone, I'm sure he was sitting in his little playpen, drinking his baba, wearing his diaper, probably.
I mean, yes, proper description of the infantilization. They're infantilized adults. They get treated as if they are infantile kids by their Scientology handlers, by their OSA people, by their ethics people, by their so-called audit people. They all treat them as if they're just infantile people. Oh, don't let anyone tell you that you're not the man because you really are getting suppressed. Really don't communicate with those who said that you're not doing something okay, because you know what? They're really suppressing you. And just like that, they have no critical thinking skills. They have no literal grasp on reality, which is what the rhetoric of convicted felon L. Ron Hubbard does to these robots. They become robots. They become, what did L. Ron Hubbard say? Oh, I'm saving a world. I'm saving a planet. You're saving nothing. You couldn't be more pathetic. You couldn't be more useless. You couldn't be more infantile. But they don't want to be reined back. They don't want to be told they're wrong. They just don't want to hear it. How many months have they been protested outside in Los Angeles, all over the world? And they don't want to hear it. Nope, don't tell me anything. I know better. I know better. That's all we ever get, that they know better. They don't want to be told they did anything wrong. According to them, what? How does this make a shred of sense? How? Like, where?
Totally crapped his pants. He crapped his diaper after he saw this interview come out. And he's like, I don't like these people being mean to me. And so he decided to sue John.
I mean, exactly, you guys. That's the suppressive technology of L. Ron Hubbard. When people are mean to you, they're really suppressing you. They're really being negative. You're really going to start roller coastering. You're really going to lose your mind because you're going to be a potential trouble source. You short circuit the minute you get a shred of opposition. Imagine the type of stupid technology that L. Ron Hubbard and his surrogates laud, as if it really does help and it really does do nothing. It turns them into brainless robots, manipulatable by remote control, by their handler at the hotel. It couldn't be more dire. It couldn't be more pathetic. It couldn't be more literally disgusting, but everything is so glib because people don't understand what they really do and what L. Ron Hubbard did say to do, and how these people making every single decision according to what their grandmaster daddy, their little daddy figure that they call an American bred God, said about something. Oh, I really need to think about this like L. Ron Hubbard would think. Let me see what he said. And there they are being shown, oh, look at this policy from L. Ron Hubbard. Look what he said here. Look what he said here. Look what he said over here. Let's do an ethics handling. You're getting into a lot of out PR. You're bringing a lot of attention to us. You're really contaminating our image. Now you're not the billionaire that we need. Because you literally are soiling your pants in front of Twitter and you don't want to be told that you stink. I mean, in what world?
John Legere. Now, when he sued him earlier this year, this was a big story. A lot of people covered it. And Grant, he made allegations. He alleged that potentially this was just the tip of the iceberg, that potentially he was going to start suing a lot of these news agencies and potentially some of these YouTubers who were saying mean things about him. But after this case is now in court and
mean, again, imagine projecting that facts are mean. How stupid can anyone be to be like, oh yeah, let me present you with a fact. Oh, that's mean. Why are you giving me this fact? I don't like it. Make it sound nicer. Good sir, a fact is not for you. Do not get your feelings hurt by the fact. The quicker you digest it, the quicker you come to reality, the quicker you get to come to earth. Not from your delusion, not from, oh, I was told at the hotel. Whatever the hell they told you at the hotel, Grant Cardone, I would suggest you shred that. Shred that rhetoric. Get rid of anything L. Ron Hubbard told you. You should start by doing that. Shred that, burn it, like literally get rid of it ASAP, or give it to your attorney. Give all that shit to your attorney and see, hey, this is what they told me at the hotel. And see if your attorney can actually put a defense together for you that makes a shred of sense, because right about now, you are not making a shred of literal sense.
A lot of the evidence is coming out. I don't think a lot of YouTubers really have a lot to worry about, because Grant Cardone does not look good from everything that has come out so far. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into some of the actual documents from the case. And this first document I'm going to show you, it does not paint Grant in a very good picture. And if what the allegations say are true, again, these are just allegations at this point, but if what they say is true, then basically Grant Cardone is a criminal. If what they say is true, I got to say that. Allegedly. Nothing has been proven at this point. But let's...
Not good. Not good that there's those allegations now on the record, because Grant Cardone was having a temper tantrum. Because Grant Cardone was being challenged on a set of facts that nobody was even going hardcore on him, given the fact that, again, the corporate media that has sanitized this exact narrative ad nauseum has curtailed the ability from the American public to understand just how far this disgusting rabbit hole literally goes. Because it's a whole bunch of sanitization over and over and over. But Grant Cardone didn't want to be told anything is wrong with him, because L. Ron Hubbard told him that's suppression. So once again, they couldn't be more unable to change, because L. Ron Hubbard told them, do not listen to anyone that tells you anything is wrong with you. Just don't listen to that. They're all incorrect. You listen to my books. You listen to my pitch. You listen to my rhetoric. We know they don't. It's a superiority complex that these people develop that is so outrageously childish, given the fact that there's nothing they actually know. The garbage rhetoric that L. Ron Hubbard taught them couldn't be more poisoned, couldn't be more outrageously disgusting and stupid, moronically stupid. It turns the most incredibly smart person into the most moronically stupid idiot with zero critical thinking skills, and really checking with L. Ron Hubbard to see what he said, as if they're following some cookie cutter recipe. Oh yeah, L. Ron Hubbard did say this here. Okay, let me go do it. They couldn't be more pathetic, literally.
But let's take a look at this. So this is defendant's motion to overrule plaintiff's objection to notice of subpoena without deposition to Susan Scheinman. So pursuant to Florida Rules of Civil Procedure 1.351, defendant John Legere respectfully moves this court for an order overruling plaintiff's objection of notice of intent to serve subpoena without deposition. Defendant seeks to issue a document subpoena to Susan Scheinman. Listen to this. Susan Scheinman is the former chief financial officer of Cardone Capital LLC. So she was at the top of Grant's company, all right? This isn't some random lady. This isn't some lady that, you know, used to serve Grant Cardone coffee at Starbucks or something like this. This lady works at the very top of Grant Cardone's company. And listen to what she says later on, right? So
really take a close listen to what Susan Scheinman said, you guys, because you know what? When it starts getting into the court, you know that shit is getting real, and you get more of what we love, the truth corroborating itself. And here, Miss Susan Scheinman is going to exemplify to every last one of you Scientology parents, mothers and fathers, exes, the ones that are still there, and everywhere in between, what it looks like, what it sounds like to be actually coming clean, not in a hotel, not in a hotel, in a filing of a lawsuit. So for as much as the law and legal process has been taken as a joke by the Scientology attorneys, shit is getting actually real. Shit is actually literally getting very, very real right now. Look at this.
So it says, a company owned and controlled by plaintiff Grant Cardone. As explained in greater detail below, plaintiff objection is baseless and is interposed by the sole purpose of preventing defendant from discovering documents that are likely to sink his defamation claims in this case. To illustrate, plaintiff claims that Legere's statements described him as a fraud, effectively accusing him of criminal activity, were false. But Shyman is one of many sources that suggest Legere's statements were true. In fact, Shyman was allegedly recorded by law enforcement officials insisting that she did not want to go to prison in connection with her work for plaintiff and his companies.
Insisting that she didn't want to go to prison in connection with her work for plaintiff and his companies. Imagine your top tier executive is speaking to legal authorities with this type of language. Imagine she did see the light somewhere in there. She did see this does smell like a literal, disgusting, stinking rat. And insisting that she did not want to go to prison in connection with her work for plaintiff and his companies.
And former Grant Cardone executives, including Shyman, revealed publicly that Grant Cardone tried to burn the place down by frantically destroying evidence so that law enforcement officials could not uncover wrongdoing by plaintiff and his companies.
Damn. There comes the burning down allegation made by Shyman, like a lady that allegedly is in the know, allegedly should have known what in the hell she's putting here on the public docket. Thanks to Grant Cardone. Thanks to Grant Cardone, who is, wanting to get caught is what it's giving. Wanting to really get caught in the literal act. Because, look, revealed publicly that Cardone Capital tried to burn the place down by frantically destroying evidence so that law enforcement officials could not uncover wrongdoings by plaintiffs and his companies. Sounds like a OSA op, right, Mike Rinder? Isn't that what y'all used to recommend? Oh yeah, don't worry about it. Just burn it down. If you burn it down, then I'm sure no one's going to find a shred of a literal thing because everything's going to be burned down. And where's the evidence? Oh, how do we make a case without evidence? Right or wrong, Mike Rinder? Did you order people to go and burn down evidence, yes or no? Did you order minors, including but not limited to Laura FM, to go and shred files to cover up the Lisa McPherson situationship, yes or no? Why is it so hard to get answers out of these people? They don't want to answer a shred of a thing. So here you go, Grant Cardone. Shyman, you're executive. So if you're finding these facts mean, maybe don't take them personal. Maybe open your eyes. Maybe just check if you're not involved in another scam of your own. The scammer becomes the scammy is what it's giving. This is literally what it's giving.
Based on this evidence, commentators have opinion that if Grant Cardone avoids prison, it will be a miracle.
Oh, a miracle or an OT power. Which one is it, Grant Cardone? Would your OT powers keep you out of prison? Is that what you were told at the hotel? Don't worry about it. You're an OT8. Everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be wonderful. You're going to have a great time. Don't worry about it, because we can't wait to promote you in our next set of seminars, because we can't wait to get another 10x people to 10x their delusion, because that's what in the hell this is giving. Again, Shaman revealed publicly that Cardone Capital tried to, quote, burn the place down, unquote, by, quote, frantically destroying evidence so that law enforcement officials could not uncover wrongdoing by plaintiff and his companies. Based on this evidence, commentators have opined that if Grant Cardone avoids prison, it will be a miracle. Isn't it interesting about destroying evidence so that law enforcement officials could not uncover wrongdoing by plaintiffs? I mean, because here we're talking about law enforcement officials, but wasn't it in the trial of the Jane Doe that the attorneys of Scientology were making a big, big deal, Your Honor? We really did hear that people are destroying evidence, even though it's not about a Jane Doe, that case, even though it has everything to do with a woman that was very public who she was. A woman that was made a Jane Doe out of literal sheer respect for her. So, by all means, in what literal world are the Scientology attorneys making a shred of literal sense? Because here you go, that, you know, your top tier celebrity opinion leader, VIP, you would know who's this is, Robert E. Mangle. I mean, Grant Cardone is one of your big whales, right? Big fish, big whale, or whatever, billionaire, right? Look, those are a special breed that you have there, Bob Duggan, this one, that one, and the other. So there we go, with all of you really making a big deal about, oh, the evidence over there is being destroyed on a case that has nothing to do with this one. But here, you know, allegedly, Ms. Scheinman is stating that, you know, on a court document, I mean, you know, you can't be just lying your ass off of this, because you do get perjured if you just open and close your mouth in terms of filing this level of when shit gets real, right, guys? When it's actually getting in the court system, that you just can't just lie your ass off. You literally have to come with the receipts and the facts. Because if you do have attorneys that have a shred of a clue how to do their job, they will set those facts in front of a judge. And then it'll be hard to play dumb. So this is the explosive allegation based on the thumbnail. Allegedly burn the place down. So it's giving, what is it, patterns, right, Osa? Right, Mike Rinder? How many people have been told to burn things down when, you know, the law enforcement was getting close, the law enforcement that you all pay to protect you? So shout out to the LAPD. Hope y'all really enjoying cashing your checks from Scientology, because look at how much literal respect they have for your so-called profession. Your law enforcement profession, they owned you by writing you checks. Imagine how pathetic can you all literally be combined.
Guys, this is a former top executive of one of Grant Cardone's companies. And she has allegedly said to law enforcement that Cardone Capital tried to burn the place down. They were trying to destroy evidence so that the police would not find it, so that Grant Cardone would not go to jail.
I mean, there you go, you guys.
Do you understand what this is alleging right here? This is alleging that Grant Cardone is a criminal, okay? And this right here would have never come out if Grant Cardone had not sued this guy. Grant Cardone has no one to blame but himself. I know Grant and his team and his lawyers are going to watch this video, Grant, and bare minimum, my worst videos get like 20,000 views. A good video gets 100,000. So let's say somewhere in the middle. Let's say this video, when it's all said and done, gets 50,000 views, Grant. So 50,000 people are going to see me showing a document where this lady allegedly said that you were trying to burn documents to prevent the police from finding them. And this would have never come out if you just hadn't sued John Legere.
Damn, Grant Cardone, you guys. Breaking news. Grant Cardone is in major ethics trouble. This is giving flap of the century vibes. This is giving Hill 10. That's what they call it in Scientology. When shit's really top tier flap of the universe, top tier flap of the universe is this right now. In what world do the Scientology attorneys that are really blabbing in court, that other people over there are really, all about, allegedly destroying stuff, Your Honor. But here's their top tier public man that, apparently he's running around unhinged. And I tell you why the attorneys have something to do with it, you guys, because again, Scientology, Grant Cardone has to go to ethics. Ethics has to hear, what is he doing with his attorneys? Who's handling his case? What are they talking about in his case? Who knows what? What type of ethics does he have? Where are his criminal acts? They've already been, oh, you need to pay us. You need to pay us. We need to really float it out of you. Float it. Scientology already knows everything about this man. He owes it to them. His privacy is not his. He pays to have no privacy. So just for whatever reason, he's a grown adult man that literally has decided, you know what, would be a great idea for me to pray to have no privacy. Go double check with your attorney, Grant, if that's going to be in your interest. Go double check with him really quickly and go, if I have answered thousands of admissions of including but not limited to criminal admissions of questions such as including but not limited to that one that I gave you on every A to J that you've ever gotten in Scientology. Have you committed a felony for which you have not been arrested? Given that that's a canned question, like you can't get past the hotel door without getting that question asked. Thanks to Debbie Cook. So if your attorney wants to be pressed, call Debbie Cook and ask her, why did you have every single public coming to the hotel be asked these questions? And ask him also, why did they have children, including but not limited to children, mining that information and writing it down? Oh yeah, look, Debbie Cook, he just said that he misrepresented everything in his taxes. He said that that's the felony he committed. Okay, well, have him do an ethics handling. Let's get him on the ethics program. Let's get him some FPRD on evil purposes about, something we can really handle here at the hotel. So just to put it into full context, what type of handlings are being done by you, Grant Cardone? Because, the devil's in the details, right? Like we need to get to the weeds of what in the hell it is and stop sanitizing the narrative with a ton of bullshit.
You have no one to blame but yourself for this. This is the adult equivalent. When you were a kid and like somebody would grab your hand and stop hitting yourself. This is the adult equivalent of this. Grant Cardone is effectively just smacking himself in the face for no reason. Apparently, Grant Cardone has some sort of fetish where he likes to humiliate himself online because, again, none of this would have existed.
Yeah, don't even get us started on the fetish aspect. Because, yeah, all manner of, children serving billion years slave contracts are there. The hotel where he also exists. And yeah, I think he would like to be humiliated. I think he does get off on it. I think all of them got groomed to like it. Grandmaster Daddy L. Ron Hubbard was all about pitching that. Oh, you're really going to get very powerful, but first let me humiliate you. Oh, you're really going to love this, but first, just get used to it and don't react. Oh, this is going to be a drill with a teddy bear and a doll. Oh, but now go do it in real time. So, yeah, disgusting beyond.
If Grant Cardone hadn't actually sued John Legere for the claims that he made on that Twitter space. Now, in my opinion, this case seems pretty frivolous, and it seems like Grant Cardone is just doing this to be mean to John Legere for
frivolous. And yeah, it's frivolous as they come, you guys. Is who. That's what I said. Grant Cardone is in a lot of ethics trouble. You guys. This in Scientology, they call it your PTS. How did you make this mistake? Grant Cardone made a mistake, a massive mistake is the headline. This is indication that Grant Cardone is a PTS, a potential trouble source. And imagine that he could be a potential trouble source type B, the criminal type, if he answered any of those questions admitting to anything wrong. So right back to the A to J check, right back to the question that you were asked every single time you knocked to get inside the Sandcastle Hotel, Grant Cardone. So again, call Debbie Cook and ask her why she was asking you for felonies before you got serviced at the hotel.
For saying those things against him, because Grant Cardone is basically going after his entire family for no reason whatsoever. Again, all of the allegations that Grant...
Now he's going after his family. So first he files a frivolous lawsuit that he already knows, if he had a shred of self-awareness, would have already known that he was not in any kind of position to be defending himself like that. Let alone hire attorneys that file the paperwork necessary to initiate this exact thing. So reference back to the definition of lawfare that we covered at the very beginning of this episode. There's the definition. There's the clay demo. Start conceptually understanding it.
Grant is saying that John Legere said about him took place in that Twitter space where it was just him, the two of them talking. There were other people as well. But now Grant is actually, you could see from this document, he's actually harassing, according to John Legere. He's
harassing, guys. Here's a pattern. Here's that part of the definition. So we make sure that no one can play dumb. Harassing. What does harassing have to do with lawfare? Do an essay. What does harassment have to do with the definition of lawfare? So put that on your notebook and start spelling that out, and how this applies and how there's a pattern here. Start going through all the lawsuits filed by attorney Brian Moxon and start spotting the pattern there. Then after you're done with those, then start spotting the pattern in all the other ones. Because there's plenty of lawsuits, frivolous, ridiculous, outrageous lawsuits that these people that know they have no facts on their side, but do have a lot of money, right? Because billionaires just show up there and just, empty out their pockets, all incentivized by the IRS, no less. Oh yeah, IRS, give them the incentive. Yeah, write off $3 million off of your taxes, Grant. Go get your medal at the graduation. Go get that medal. Go get your bag.
He's harassing Christine Legere, his daughter, and his former spouse, Laura Kama.
So yet again here, you guys, he's harassing the daughter. Why in the literal hell would Grant Cardone's team be asking to subpoena Christina Legere and Laura Kaimi, his former spouse and his daughter? Mr. Cardone's subpoenas are shameful abuse of this court's subpoena power because he knows neither Mr. Legere or Mr. Kaimi have any information that is relevant to the claim or defenses in this case. Interesting strategy from the Scientology safe-pointed attorneys at best that Cardone has. Haven't even seen who the hell they are, but imagine that they are very well safe-pointed there because they wouldn't be doing anything otherwise. So those very safe-pointed attorneys that are all about defending this are also all about, issuing BS subpoenas to what? Oh yeah, to the family of defendant John Legere, the ex-CEO of T-Mobile, who got ensnared in frivolous litigation. And literally, in what world are these facts repeating themselves?
He's issuing subpoenas to try and get information from them when they have nothing to do with this case at all. There's no reason for Grant to be subpoenaing these people since they have nothing to do with the case. But he wants.
And just an FYI, Scientology attorneys, Brian Kent has nothing to do with the case. So you're all about just asking for subpoenas all over the hell just because you're using, what was it, the definition of lawfare? Apparently, your crashing misunderstood word is that. Because that's what the hell this is giving, Scientology attorneys. You're all doing lawfare. Look it up, use it in sentences, do clay demos, conceptually understand what in the hell that is saying. And then check your actions and check if any of that shit actually applies. Connect the dots. Connect the goddamn dots. Figure it out. Stop being allergic to, feedback that you don't want to hear because your client that's indefensible in the pattern of doing this over and over and over, that apparently none of you are good enough lawyers to rein back. Apparently, these Scientology attorneys like getting walked all over by their client. Imagine the stupidity of that.
What he wants to do, and now defendant John Legere is trying to quash the harassing subpoenas that Grant Cardone is issuing to his family. Now, from there...
Yeah. Can you imagine that you have to be putting your family's name on the filings, you guys? That's what these attorneys are doing. Oh, you really want to come after us? Oh, yeah, look what we're going to do. Look how shameless we are to just, let's just put your daughter's name on this just because, yeah, we really do have a question. Do you have a question for her daughter? Or, should the other people have questions for Grant Cardone's daughters? Because that would be a very good question to start asking your attorneys, Grant Cardone. Why don't we subpoena Sabrina while we're at it and just, throwing names out to the air and see what sticks?
It actually gets worse because John Legere is actually trying to get evidence to prove his case from several of the different companies that Grant Cardone has actually worked with over the years, and potentially companies that he doesn't get to work with now because of things from John Legere has said. So one of the claims that Grant Cardone has made is that Fox News and A&E both decided not to have him on their shows because of the allegations that John Legere made against him. That's part of the allegations of why Grant is claiming he lost $100 million because of what John Legere has said. And John has tried to contact these companies as well as other companies in the past. If you know, Grant Cardone was on a show called Undercover Billionaire back in 2019.
Undercover, interesting. You and Marisol Nichols are all about the undercover, Grant? It's you and Marisol Nichols. Different type of undercover. Here, you're supposedly undercover billionaire. There, she's supposedly undercover, really going to help law enforcement to fight the trafficking. Marisol Nichols. Besties with your wife, too, by the way.
And John is trying to get documents from all these people from Undercover Billionaire because he claimed, Grant Cardone has claimed that he is a billionaire, and he wants documentation from the company to prove that. And Grant Cardone is trying to prevent that from happening. Now, what's really interesting in this document right here is talking about how Grant Cardone is trying to prevent him, John Legere, from contacting from getting subpoenas of both Fox News and A&E. And the reason that he's doing that, according to Legere, is because there's evidence to prove that what Grant Cardone is saying is just not true. So it says, pursuant to Florida Rule of Civil Procedure 1.351, defendant John Legere moves this court for an order overruling plaintiff Grant Cardone's frivolous objections to Mr. Legere's notice of intent to serve document subpoenas to witnesses that Mr. Cardone himself identified as having relevant information. Because this is just the latest episode of Mr. Cardone abusing the discovery process, this court should reject Mr. Cardone's objections and impose costs for wasting the court and Mr. Legere's time and resources.
Again, you guys, once they realize they're losing, it's all about the delaying tactics. So they're going to throw as much shit as they can on a wall. And that's exactly what's being corroborated here. Again, like, in what world are these people always? Who's the common denominator between all these frivolous lawsuits that we have been discussing and covering? All those people have Scientology handlers behind them. All of them. Every single one of them. Different capacity, different way. But you know what? As we always say, same shit, different air freshener.
So it goes on to say, second, Mr. Cardone's objection is contradictory by his complaint because he alleges there that every statement by Mr. Legere identified in the complaint is false. While Mr. Cardone's counsel has been forced to admit in the court of arguments before this court that at least some of Mr. Legere's statements are true. He refuses to identify every statement quoted in the complaint that he now believes is true.
Damn. I mean, look at these documents, you guys. Seriously, this is not good. This is not good at all.
So basically what happened is Grant Cardone sued him for $100 million, all these claims. And now Grant's own
Sued him for $100 million. Let's make sure we don't forget that, guys. $100 million lawsuit filed by Grant Cardone, the supposed billionaire. I mean, imagine having $1 billion and you go, you know what, I really need another 100 million. And you know what I really need to do? Spend all this money in frivolous subpoenas, in frivolous allegations that I know are completely, laughably untrue. I'm not even being sunk to the bottom of the ocean because half the people in America don't know what in the hell is really wrong and going on, because half of people of America only have sources to the corporate media that sanitize this as my so-called religion. I'm really part of a religion here at a hotel where, yes, they're complicit up to their neck and ears with you, Grant, in orchestrating whatever in the hell you are all doing as part of this ethics handling that we know that you're on. So before anybody gets very confused, Grant Cardone is right now pulled into the ethics officer. Could be, including but not limited to, a very young 15-year-old. They like them young, 15-year-old, fiery. You're out ethics, Grant Cardone. You better get your ethics in. You better get your withholds pulled. You better start telling us exactly what you've been doing. You better get your ethics fully established. We're going to give you a sec check. We're going to interrogate you. What type of financial irregularities are you involved in? We're going to get that all out of you. That's the faith of Grant Cardone in there. You created so much out PR. OSA keeps calling me. They're finding out what's going on with the cycle, what's going on with Grant Cardone. What are the lawyers saying? How are we going to start reining this back? Why are YouTubers getting this information on YouTube? Why are we now being shown to have a pattern all over the place? Why? That's the type of ethics handling that Grant Cardone is having to have for himself right now. At the hotel, he's being yelled at, screamed at, told that he's a degenerate, told that he's a good for nothing. So yeah, humiliation tactics much. I mean, that's how they treat them there. You know, when he was doing real great and bringing a lot of people, he was being given 10% checks. Oh, you're an FSM. Oh, you just brought more people. Oh, here's 10%. Oh, I just paid $100,000. Here's $10,000 for you, Grant. You know, we're going to hook you up. Oh, now you're not bringing anybody because now nobody wants to watch your YouTubes because, you know, your reputation sucks and everyone's calling you a scam. Oh, no, now, you know, now we don't want you. Now you're out ethics. Now you're disgusting. Now we really need to get to the bottom of your out ethics. And now we really are going to declare you a suppressive person because, you know, what if you do get indicted and convicted by the feds? Then how's that going to make us look, Grant Cardone? Oh, but don't bring up the fact that you gave us what? $20 million plus is what I think has been reported in the media, give or take, allegedly. You can provide the tax records, Grant Cardone, so you can tell us how much the IRS has been hooking you up, because that would be really great to add to the whole thing.
Own lawyers have been forced to admit in court that a lot of what John Legere said is actually true. Now, they're not going to be like, oh, this is what he said is true, this is false. They're not being forthcoming as to what information he said is true and which information is false. They're just like, well, some of what you said is false. You're going to have to figure it out later. They're being very shady about this whole procedure. So it says, third, Mr. Cardone's objection.
Slim Shady attorneys. I mean, I think that they're literally going for the Slim Shady, you guys. What in the literal hell? Again, going back to the pattern, look at like, in what world are all these attorneys being Slim Shadys? Because you know what? That would be great to understand.
Action is frivolous because it tries to block the investor or prospective investor subpoenas in their entirety, but objects only to the one request discussed above. Therefore, Mr. Cardone's argument cannot sustain his overbroad objection. Mr. Cardone's objection to Fox News and AOE subpoenas should be overruled. So what's really interesting, like I said, Grant Cardone has claimed that because of John Legere's statements, he's lost over $100 million, and he hasn't been able to go on these shows like Fox News. What's really interesting is I've found a lot of videos just in the past few months since this lawsuit happened of Grant Cardone has now appeared on, I think, Fox Business or Fox, I think it's Fox Business. But he's appeared several times on these shows. So it doesn't.
I mean, Harris is either financially illiterate or she thinks voters are. Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone. Imagine calling anyone financially illiterate when you go get yelled at and screamed at by underage children inside of hotels that tell you that they are your ethics officers. Imagine you make that point with a straight face in the news. Imagine you're out there throwing shade and people don't even know what in the hell you're writing off all manner of tax write-offs, right? Tax incentives by the IRS, where you get, including but not limited to, access to be serviced by underage children. Tell your attorneys to, really give you a good advice about that. Tell your attorneys that that really can be sanitized as a religious activity, because you know what? It would be very great for your attorneys to really give it to you straight. They should be on your side. They should be your advocates, Grant Cardone. They should be your advocates. So here you are going on a Fox News, Grant Cardone, Trump will dysregulate an inspiration to create a wealthier middle class. Imagine that. Imagine that you pretend to be some politician that really knows what in the hell you are talking about, Grant Cardone. If you are having political aspirations, as you and your daughter have already literally spoken about, you better believe that you're going to have a ton of skeletons in the closet that are literally being aired out right now, thanks to you in the court. So shit's getting real now, right? Because you're in the court. So you can't just run your mouth and call everyone a hater, which is your go-to, and all manner of white male Scientologists go to when they're getting called out for disgusting fraud. Right, Grant? You and all the women in there too. Men and women, both. L. Ron Hubbard surrogates didn't discriminate. They took both.
It doesn't appear that it has hurt him in any way. Like, you can't make the claim that John Legere has destroyed your reputation, you've lost $100 million, and you can't go on Fox News, and then later you appear on Fox News. So that,
yeah, you can make that claim because Grant Cardone, you just self-inflicted your own wound by calling this out. So that's what the problem is right now, that you just put on the public record other information that was made part of discovery, given that you initiated the $100 million lawsuit. I mean, in what world was this gonna turn out good for Grant Cardone? PTS, it's giving PTS.
so that doesn't really jive with what Grant Cardone is saying in this case. Now, one thing I want to add here at the end is, since this case has happened, a lot of people have been digging into, Grant Cardone's past and everything that's happening. And what's really interesting is Grant Cardone, he's into real estate. He gets people to give him a bunch of money and he buys real estate. And he actually bought a property, the Manor at Flagler Village. He's posted photos of this. He doesn't specifically name the property, but it's very clear. There's a bunch of articles talking about it by different companies that this is the property that Grant Cardone has bought. There's a bunch of people claiming that this is the property. Now, what's really interesting is Baller Busters. If you actually go, you can see all of the recent reviews from the manor at Flagler Village, it used to have really good reviews. It was an upscale property in Florida. And since Grant Cardone's alleged company has taken over, it's received nothing but a bunch of terrible reviews. So let's take a view at some of these. Please read all of the most recent reviews before signing here. Management does not care about residents once the lease is signed. We've had nothing but good things to say about this place up until RPM took over, and ever since it has gone downhill, and it has been months with no AC in hallways. Maintenance requests went from being completed within a day to not even getting an update in 2 weeks, and leasing agents truly do not care about helping tenants, even though it is their job. They're very condescending, and I've overheard how they hate their job's residents. It truly is unacceptable to charge us the amount they do and treat us like this. Do not fall for the sign-on bonus. It is not worth having to deal with this new management company.
Damn. That is not a good review, Grant Cardone. It's very low statistic. It's giving downstat AF. It's giving you're a mess. You're a legal mess. You're a financial mess. You're a landlord mess. You're a mess everywhere. It's giving confusion. It's giving the stay below confusion delusion. So try and get out of the state of delusion first before you do the state of confusion. Because, yeah, get out of the delusion.
Listen to these reviews. Do not move into the manor. No matter how much money they are offering, it's not worth it.
It's giving Scientology sales tactics, you guys. It's giving, oh yeah, where do I sign for the $1 billion sign-in bonus? Oh yeah, let's really close the deal, close that deal, get that bag, but...
Since the new management took over about 3 months ago, everything about this property has gone down. Here are a few of the issues we face daily. No air in the hallways and elevators for 10 plus weeks. Mold in hallways, on doors, inside units. Case documents. And the case documents, there are hundreds and hundreds of filings. I've only gone through a percentage of it at this point. I'll potentially have to make more follow-up videos because it's a lot of damning information, specifically with that one person who is, a former high member of Grant's company claiming that he's burning documents to hide it.
A lot of damning information is right, you guys. This is a lot of damning information. This is a lot of damning information on the heels of everything we just heard in court. So, in what literal world do you expect all of these patterns to repeat themselves ad nauseum and start seeing them in, oh, this case had it, this case frivolous, this case utilizing lawfare? Because in a nutshell, that's what this all is, as we said at the very beginning of this live. So, very, very troubling, very, very troubling, very damning, and there's a lot more. So, shout out to Scott Schaefer for presenting it. Hope that our feedback is able to further contextualize some of the behind the scenes that aren't understood. Because again, there's been a lot of glibness, and we need to be able to call out all of these irregularities, all of these out points, as they tell you in Scientology. These are out points. These are things that don't make a literal shred of sense. So we need to really start understanding why they're not making sense and pull the string and find what in the hell is actually literally going on. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.